The Miami Dolphins defense and run game were absolutely dominant today. Sacks, turnovers, big runs by Wright and Achane before he left. We'll try and find out the latest on Achane's injury update and so much more. Man, as well as the Hurricanes getting into the playoffs today of college football. It's been a great day for Miami sports fans. Let's talk about it.
Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score! Field down the near side, man open. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. It's not over the touchdown again.
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go! Everyone rejoice. The Miami Dolphins have won 4 in a row and 5 of their last 6. And I know what you're going to say. And I agree with you. Where was this early on in the season? Man, if we had this defense and the way it's been playing early on, this team would have finished off the Panthers and not blown that lead. This team would have finished off the Chargers. This team would be in the thick of, they would be in a playoff spot right now if we had this. But as the story goes, we can never get all 3 phases working at the same time. But we are getting parts of phases going as the offense today, came out blistering hot. Got a little stagnant in that second and third quarter, especially in the passing game. But, that rush offense is unbelievable. The defense is unbelievable right now. They are taking advantage of mistakes. And the Miami Dolphins are 6-7 heading into a primetime Monday night matchup with the Steelers, who the Steelers themselves won today. They beat the Baltimore Ravens 27-22. So the Steelers are 7-6 right now. That does help the Dolphins. All right. I want to put that out there too. That does help the Miami Dolphins. Remember, the Dolphins heading into today needed to take care of their own business. Check. They needed the Steelers to beat the Ravens. Check. They needed the Jags to beat the Colts. Check. But they needed the Bengals to beat the Bills, and a late game collapse from Joe Burrow actually gave that game away to the Buffalo Bills. Right? Joe Burrow threw a pick 6, which was not pretty by any stretch of the imagination. He threw a pick 6 when the team was up 28-25 after a 40-yard rush from Josh Allen. Joe Burrow threw a pick 6 for 63 yards. Then he threw another interception right after that led to a 3-yard touchdown pass to Jackson Hawes to put the Bills up 39-28. And then the Bengals only had 1 timeout remaining and just over 2 minutes, 2:13, and they failed the 2-point conversion. And then they couldn't get it done as the time got kneeled out. So 2 out of 3 is not bad. For the rest of the way, we need the Raiders to beat the Broncos. Good luck to us. We need the Texans to beat the Chiefs, which with the Texans defense and how it's playing, it's very possible. And then we need the Eagles to beat the Chargers. So that's for all of you wanting a playoff update. Listen, I'm not locked in on the playoffs. Where I stand with this is, pretty consistent. I'm not dipping my toes back into that hopium pool until we're at least 7-7. That's number one. And number two, the fact of the matter is the teams ahead of us, we need a lot to break our way. We need a lot to break our way. And I'm just looking for a strong finish. Now, I know Canes fans, they're excited about the current college playoff bracket. This is what it looks like. The Canes will open up in Texas A&M. They're ranked 10th. They'll go against Texas A&M. And then the winner of that will face number 2 Ohio State. Ole Miss will host Tulane. And then the winner of that will face Georgia. Oregon and James Madison will face off. And then the winner of that takes on Texas Tech. And then Oklahoma and Alabama with the winner of that taking on Mendoza and the Indiana Hoosiers. We might have a Dante Moore, and Texas Tech's going to be tough, but I believe in Dante. We might have a Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza matchup and rematch from this year. That would be fantastic. So there's a quick update for the college football playoff brackets for you guys. I know Hurricane fans, they are living the dream today. They are happier than a pig, and you know what? Because Miami fans got the Hurricanes in, and then they got a big dominant win against an AFC East rival with the Dolphins today. Remember, I will be down for the Bengals game in a few weeks. There is a potential it gets flexed out. It's going to be a big weekend. I'm going to be down there. I'm going to be coming down Saturday morning. I'll be flying into Orlando. I'll be doing Epic Universe on Friday. And then I'll be coming in to Miami on Saturday morning. And me and my boy Sean and our crew, we're going to go watch that. We're going to get together, probably order some wings and all that jazz. And we're going to watch the Hurricanes game. And then at night, we've got the Panthers and the Blues. Shout out to Richmond Webb. I think we're going to be linking up with Richmond Webb because he's down with Alumni Weekend for Alumni Weekend. And then Saturday, whether it's flexed or not, we're going to be live and in color at the Bengals Dolphins game. And hopefully we are 7-7. So, and I, you know what? Listen, speaking of the playoffs and this playoff push, I think you're right, Joe Christ. If people don't know what happened, or Joe Christ, Kim, people don't know what happened today. Daniel Jones went down with what looks to be a significant Achilles injury. So the Colts, I mean, we were talking about this during the live reaction. It might be SOL for the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, no Daniel Jones. They went with Riley Leonard today. And I mean, you look at the Colts and what they have coming up. I mean, yeah, you are totally right, Joe. 110%. You are on point, my friend. Joe been one of those day ones. He's been around for a minute too. So, you look at what the Colts have. I mean, they've got the Seahawks, the Niners, the Jags, and the Texans. I mean, the Seahawks are playing good football right now. The 49ers are playing good football. The Jags are playing good football. And the Texans are playing good football led by that defense. And the Texans might be in a position where they need to win that game. So, I mean, yeah, the Colts, they might not win another game. I agree with what Joe said. They are 8-5, and they very well might end up 8-9. Right? And we need them to keep losing. They're one of the teams currently ahead of us that if you are hoping for a playoff berth, that is what you are hoping. You are hoping that it don't go well for the Colts because we're coming, baby. We're coming. All right. So basically what you have right now is the Chargers are in 6th at 8-4. The Colts are in 7th at 8-5. The Texans are in 8th at 7-5. The Chiefs are 6-6. The Ravens are 6-7, and the Dolphins are 6-7. Now, the Dolphins, because we lost the head-to-head, the Ravens have the tiebreaker over us. Just like I've been warning you guys, the Chargers have a tough remaining schedule, but they have the head-to-head tiebreaker and they have the divisional tiebreaker over us. So really, you're chasing that 7th and 8th spot, hoping the Ravens continue to kind of stumble, the Colts continue to stumble, and the Texans all of a sudden fall off. Now, the Texans and the Chiefs are playing today. So, and if the Chiefs win, if the Texans win, they're ahead of you by 2 games. If the Chiefs win, they're ahead of you by one, only one. Both teams are ahead of you by 1 game. So now if the Texans do win, that puts the Chiefs into a 3-way tie with us and the Ravens, so at 6-7. But I don't know. I'm wondering if you almost want the Texans to lose now of how today is gone. Now the Steelers, they're in 4th place. They're winning their division right now because the Ravens lost today. Right? The Browns are 3-9. The Bengals are 4-9. The Baltimore Ravens are 6-7, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are 7-6. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are actually in 4th place. They're winning their division right now. Now I know coming into the day, you wanted the Bengals over the Bills, Steelers over the Ravens, Jags over the Colts, Raiders over the Broncos, Eagles over the Chargers tomorrow, and then the Texans over the Chiefs. But I'm wondering if you still want the Texans to win. You know, I'm wondering if you still want the Texans to win that game. So, let me see here. All right, let me see. Okay, here we go. So with them, all right, Dolphins 6-7 with an under 1% chance to make the playoffs. Okay, just so you know. So the Jags won, the Titans won, the Steelers won. You want the Raiders to win, right? You want the Raiders to win. You know, our percentage is still not going up great. We need a lot of help. Now, with the Texans and the Chiefs, it doesn't really, either way, whether the Chiefs or the Texans win, you got a 1% chance still. So, yeah, but I ain't smoking hopium. Not yet. Nope. Not happening. Nope. We got to win on Monday night for me to dip my toes back into that hopium pool. I'm sorry. I'm not going to dip my toes into that hopium pool until this team is 7-7. If they can go into Pittsburgh, win on prime time, which remember, they have not been good under Mike McDaniel in prime time. They're 4-11 in prime time under McDaniel. Right? They're not, and that's including the Kansas City game. They have not been good. So 4-11 in prime time, in cold weather. I mean, you could kill 2 narratives right here. You can kill 2 narratives right here. You want to go win, and if it snows, even better. You want to go win in prime time against a team above 500 who's actually leading their division right now in their house, in snow, on prime time, and that gets us back to 7-7? All right, I believe a little bit more. I'll believe a little bit more now. Now I'll play the hopium game a little bit. But right now, I just can't yet. Because I've been saying this since we beat the Bills. I got to stay consistent. Everyone got wild over the Bills game, and I stayed consistent. I said, I'm going to enjoy these wins because I didn't want to play losing football the rest of the way. Did I want the better pick? Sure. If you're not going to make the playoffs, you want the best pick possible. But I sat through the 1-15 season. I didn't want to watch losing football the rest of the way. I wanted to see wins. Man, I hope they win. You're already playing yourself out of the pick. You might as well win out the rest of the way. So, listen. I want to see winning football. Go beat a division leader that's over 500 in their own house in inclement weather on prime time. And you will have proven something to me, especially if Tua has a solid game. Then we're really back, baby. Then we're really back. So, I mean, because the one thing, listen, we all want Jalen. We all want Jalen Wright to be successful, but at the end of the day, we want Achane because we know he will be key to these final 4 games. But Jalen Wright proved today that, man, no Achane, I can still give you a little something, right? 24 carries, 107 yards and a touchdown, running hard. Ollie Gordon adding 5 carries for 17 yards and a touchdown. I mean, 29 carries for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns from Ollie Gordon and Jalen Wright combined today. That's phenomenal stuff. Let's go. That run game showed, hey, even still, we'll keep it moving. Shout out to Tua for staying undefeated against the Jets. So, I mean, we just need I need De'Von Achane for that final run. That's what I need. You give me De'Von Achane, we're good to go. I ain't worried if De'Von Achane, the way this defense and the way Achane is playing, we can ride that, baby. We can ride that 110%. Shout out to the sponsor of this video. That, of course, is Sleeper. If you think you know football, try to turn your football knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy sports app that turns game day into payday. Download the Sleeper app. Pick more or less on your favorite players with more stats than any other daily fantasy app. Just choose 2 or more of your favorite players from pregame or live. Then pick from the predicted stats, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money if your picks win. Use promo code Phinside, and you get to $100 match on your first deposit. Now, terms and conditions do apply. Go see Sleeper's terms of use for details. But if you sign up using my code right now, you will get a free $20 deposited in your account, courtesy of Sleeper. You can use them for the night games, the Monday night game. Next week, you can put playoff props down, whatever you want. But go use my code and at least claim that free $20. You never know what you could turn it into. All right. Man, Anthony Weaver's doing phenomenal stuff right now. He is doing phenomenal stuff. That defense has really, really turned a corner and been absolutely hands down fantastic. All right. I mean, we're going to talk about that defense in a few minutes here, but you just can't say enough good things, but and the only bad thing you can say is, man, if they're playing how we were expecting them to play out of the gate. This is the defense we're expecting from the get-go. And if we got this defense from the get-go, we don't get blown. We might lose to the Colts because Tua was bad that day, but we don't get blown out. I think we beat the Patriots. I think we beat the Chargers. And I think we beat the Panthers if this defense was playing at this level early on. Because that's the thing. 2 years in a row, Weaver's defense has been a little slow out of the gate. Now, that's expected with turnover and such, and with the amount they leaned on the rookies this year. So let's talk about this game a little bit. Let's go over anything. I thought out of the gate, everything looked good. You had that end around for 21 yards on 2nd and 4 after the neutral zone infraction to Waddle. Beautiful, right? Then that Achane run on that first drive, people, where he spun off that defender and then broke a tackle attempt from 3 Jet defenders at once. That was unbelievable stuff from Achane. And then the touchdown to cap that drive off, right? That opening drive. Tua took a huge blindside hit, but still managed to find Waddle for 6. And you know what time it is when we find Waddle for 6. You already know, baby. We got a Waddle all the way. So that was great stuff. And quite frankly, that throw, even though he took a little bit of a hit, looked like money to me, huh? Dolphins then came back and forced a 3-and-out, one of many the defense would throw. Tua was looking super sharp in that first quarter. Waddle looked phenomenal. Some great runs from Achane. The interior offensive line was really dominant in that run game, especially in the first quarter, I thought. Tyrell Dodson had that bobbled interception off of a Mason Taylor drop that, hallelujah, Mike McDaniel won a challenge on. Great concentration by Tyrell Dodson. Bobbled it, kept it between his legs, didn't touch the turf. And then we followed that up with a Jalen Wright 2-yard touchdown run. And it was the first time that the Dolphins have scored 21 points in the first quarter since October 25th, 2015 against the Houston Texans, right? Then you had a few miscues on defense. Chubb missed Breece Hall for a 2-yard loss, and Breece turned it into a 9-yard gain, but didn't matter. Somehow, some way, the defense still forced a 3-and-out, their second in a row. But then the Dolphins got the ball back, up 21-0, and they punted, and they allowed a punt return for a touchdown. Then Tua didn't look as sharp as he did in the first quarter. He almost threw 2 picks on that drive following the punt return touchdown. He had that tip ball by the linebacker that sailed over Waller. And then he was kind of forcing it to Waddle, and Oliver got a hand on it. And what I didn't like on that drive, too, 4 of the 5 plays ran on that drive were passes. Now, Tyrod Taylor left the game. Brady Cook came in, and he fumbled a snap on 3rd and 1. And then he was sacked on that for 3-and-out. Ollie Gordon, he missed a key block on the following Dolphins drive. Tua was sacked on 3rd and 6 for another 3-and-out for the Dolphins. Chop Robinson forced a fumble with a strip sack on Cook. Jets recovered it, but I thought Chop Robinson the last couple of weeks, people, has been phenomenal. He's been really good. Dolphins, they forced their 4th 3-and-out in the first half. Achane, he gets banged up on a 29-yard run to start a drive out. And I thought Wright was running really, really hard today. Achane ended up going to the blue tent. Rib injury is what was confirmed, and he was questionable to come back before the half. He never ended up coming back. I think Greg Dulcich, I mean, you got to sign Aaron Brewer. You got to sign Jordan Brooks. We talk about extending De'Von Achane. Man, you got to extend and give new money to Greg Dulcich. I mean, he is everything this staff wants Julian Hill to be and hoped he could be. He had that great run after the catch for 25 yards to the Jets won, but it was called back by a block in the back by Waddle. But I thought he was absolutely dynamic and electric in open space. Now, the Dolphins ended up settling for a field goal to go up 24-7, but man, Dulcich, he's phenomenal. I thought that DPI call on Fitzpatrick was very iffy. Now, if you're going to call him for not turning his head, I get it, but he played the chest and the ball pretty well. And then you had Brady Cook picked off by Rasul Douglas in front of the end zone for his 2nd pick in as many weeks. Rasul Douglas and Jack Jones have been phenomenal. You have to give Chris Greer his credit for those. You have to. 3rd and 5 on the next Dolphins drive, and Tua throws a backwards pass to the running back. It looked like a fumble, and it looked like Brandon Stevens recovered in the end zone, but it was ruled incomplete, reviewed, and the incompletion stood. The last angle really showed that it was barely just a forward pass. Jets were held to 18 passing yards in the first half and just 29 rushing yards. The Jets had just 2 first downs in the first half. Miami had 14 in the first half. Achane, 7 carries for 92 yards and a touchdown. That's what he ended with, and that all came in the first half. Dolphins were also 3 for 3 in the red zone in the first half, and they ended up finishing out in the game in the red zone really, really good. They ended up being a perfect 4 for 4 in the red zone by the end of the game. Now, neither team converted a third down in the first half. Miami was 0 for 5. The Jets were 0 for 6. It didn't get much prettier. The Dolphins finished 2 for 10, and the Jets finished 1 for 12. Now, I will say this, and especially in the first quarter, the Dolphins didn't put themselves in a position where they had to convert a lot of long third downs. So that was just an efficient offense, especially in the first half, I thought. Now, when the second half opened up on that opening Jets drive, on 3rd and 5, Zach Sealer and Bradley Chubb ended off with a sack. Sealer ended the day with 2.5 sacks. 2.5 sacks from him. Waddle then came off holding his calf, but he would return later on. Tua got away, almost got picked again. That swing pass to right was read the whole way by Walker Jr. It was inside the Miami 5. It was almost a pick 6. But the Dolphins, that drive ended on a 3-and-out on the first drive of the second half. And then the next Jets drive on 3rd and 9 ends with another Sealer sack. Ollie Gordon fumbled a good pitch from Tua that, thank God, Miami recovered to make it 3rd and 4. And then Tua converted the third down with a pass to Waddle. That was the first third down conversion of the day by any team. And Ollie Gordon was shaking his head, and he bounced back after that. He really did. Now, what I didn't like was we're throwing on 2nd and 6 on a swing pass to right when you could run it to bring up a 3rd and short. And then Tua had an incompletion on 3rd down, and this was from what, the Jets 42? And it forced another punt. I mean, you know, I didn't like how many passes we had on that drive. 3rd and 8, great throw from Cook deep over the middle when the Jets get the ball back, and Rasul broke it up and forced another 3-and-out. Jets then tricked everyone. They ran a fake speed option punt, and they picked up 19 yards for the first down. Mechie dropped a walk-in touchdown from Cook. Then they had a false start on the next play. The Jets would have to settle for a field goal, 24-10. Jalen Wright just continued to run hard and late in the fourth quarter on that one drive that ended with a Ollie Gordon touchdown. Strong touchdown, might I add, with Paul giving a push. Jalen Wright had 49 yards on that drive alone. Phenomenal stuff. Grant was making plays today. He was in the backfield. He was forcing Cook out of the pocket because of pressure. Melufanu got a sack and the 6th and final sack of the day for the Dolphins. Riley Patterson hit his first 50-plus yard field goal of the year to make it 34-10. Man, you got to watch. I know it's late in the game and people are kind of tuning it out, but that hit from Ashton Davis on Smart, that was a massive hit to jar the ball loose for an incompletion. Wow. And then Bonner. What an interception by Bonner. Are you kidding me? What an interception from Bonner. Did his best Brent Grimes impression with that one-handed interception from Ethan Bonner to basically seal the game off. That was absolutely phenomenal stuff from Ethan Bonner. Unbelievable stuff. He was having a bit of a rough game on special teams leading up to that too. So, man, what a game for the defense. What a game for the rushing attack. Really. Miami finishes the day off running the football 41 times. They only passed 21 times. They ran 62 plays, and 41 of them are rush attempts. They finished with 41 rush attempts for 239 yards and 3 touchdowns. Absolutely fantastic stuff. while the Jets, 17 rushes for 65 yards. Wow. Wow. We just need to get Achane healthy for next week, and we're cooking. And we are cooking. But like I said, the great thing about today and what we saw the result of today is Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon said, hey, we can carry quite the load. So, what is the latest on our star running back? Really, on our franchise player? Well, guess what? I have got the latest for you right here, and we're going to show it to you courtesy of Barry Jackson just as of a minute ago. No rib break for De'Von Achane, McDaniel said. Adding Achane was available to return to today's game if the team had chosen to use him. Miami was up big and protecting him. So there you go. De'Von Achane was available to return to today's game if the team chose to use him. And this is what I said when he went down and when we were up. I said, listen, you are up right now. Do not risk him. We need him for these final 4 games. We need him for these final 4 games. And not even just about a playoff push, about if you want to win out. So that is huge. And Achane, my friends, 7 carries, 92 yards and a touchdown. If this guy would have got 20 carries today, Achane was on pace for well over 200 yards. Well over 200 yards. Now, I know those Steelers, that's who they're going to be game planning for. That's who they are going to be game planning for right now. They aren't trying to allow that kind of game from Achane. Let's be real here. All right. And I mean, they allowed 94 yards on 24 carries to Derrick Henry today. They Baltimore actually had about 217 yards rushing on 40 carries today. Keaton Mitchell had 76 yards. Lamar Jackson had 43. So if you take out Lamar, I mean, that's still 160 yards rushing. 170 yards rushing on 31 carries to Derrick Henry and Keaton Mitchell. So, I mean, they're with the way the offensive line is playing right now in the run game and the way the run game is humming, that 6 offensive line package. I mean, especially if it's going to be a cold game and those are the conditions where you want to dominate in the trenches, you want to establish your dominance on the ground. It's lining up perfectly for the Dolphins run game this week. It really is. It really is lining up for them. So, and I think defensively, if you can contain Aaron Rodgers and smother DK Metcalf, I mean, I don't think Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren are going to dominate you. They combined for 12 carries for 28 yards, and they won today. Now, could this be a Darnell Washington or Pat Freiermuth game because the Miami Dolphins have proven they've had issues with covering tight ends? I don't know. That would be another concern of mine. You saw the chances were there for Mason Taylor today, and he had a bunch of drops that led to turnovers, drops that killed drives. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think, that could be a sneaky one because Darnell Washington is flashed. We know Pat Freiermuth has it in him. So, that'll be something to definitely keep an eye on, in my opinion. 110%. So we'll see. And I think Darnell Washington, if I remember reading all the injury reports this week, I don't know, maybe I think Q's a Steelers fan. I could have swore Darnell's banged up right now too. So you might have to worry about, maybe just a guy like Pat Freiermuth. But I know Darnell had like a reception today for 12 yards, but I know Darnell is a little banged up. So, I think, didn't he get hurt today? Didn't he get hurt today? I could have swore I was scrolling and I saw something on the timeline while I was live reacting. Because, I don't remember seeing him on the injury report. Let me look this up. Could have swore Darnell. I could have swore I saw something today. Darnell Washington. Oh, yeah. Yeah. On that 12-yard gain. Yeah, his head smacked off the turf. So I don't know. Will he clear concussion protocol? I don't know. So, but okay, let's talk about this. It feels like we're having to do this every week. Anthony Weaver and that defense. All of a sudden the turnovers and the points were scoring off of turnovers. Like, it is absolutely phenomenal stuff right now. Dolphins, they are just lighting it up off turnovers right now, and they're making it happen. They're making it happen. I love what we're seeing right now, man. Like, this defense, unbelievable. Unbelievable today. Forcing turnovers like it ain't no one's business. Like it ain't no one's business today. And really over the last few weeks, they're really starting to come, especially for the secondary. They're starting to come. And they're coming in bunches, really. Like, let's hope they continue to keep coming. But you look at today. Interceptions by Douglas, Dotson, Bonner. You almost had some, you had a chance at Kenneth Grant almost landed on that Brady Cook botched fumble. Let's go. Because this is something, what's crazy is, and this is what you got to give Anthony Weaver's props for. Last year, one of the issues with the defense was we weren't turning the ball over enough. And now, look at the turnovers we're forcing this year. That's something this defense has improved on. Again, I wish they came out of the gate playing like this early on, because we all knew they had this potential. And man, you just can't continue to say enough about Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips, as well as even Zeke Biggers. Chops really come on the last couple of games. Zach Sealer's coming on right now. Chubb's finishing off plays. That defensive front is turning into the dominant front we thought it could be. We are literally seeing this front turn into what many of us were predicting preseason, that this could be one of the best defensive fronts in the NFL. We are literally seeing it unfold in front of our eyes. Man, you got to love it. You got to love it. So, and Jordan Brooks, I'm going to remind you guys how I'm blue in the face. I kept telling you when Jerome Baker wasn't good enough, all the heat I caught on Twitter when I basically ripped apart that Jerome Baker extension, and I had to listen to people compare him to Fred Warner and Shaq Leonard in his prime and all this crap. Now you are seeing what a real linebacker looks like in Jordan Brooks. That is a real linebacker. That is a real leader. That is a legitimate dog at the position. See, you remember how you guys used to hang your hats on Jerome Baker's tackle stats? And you remember how he used to always say, these tackles are 3, 4, 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. What good is that? When the blocker lets go of his block because the running back's already moved, or the ball carrier's already moved past you. Now do you see the impact of a guy who can make 10 to 20 tackles a game with more than half of them mattering in Jordan Brooks? That's a real... I take Jordan Brooks' tackle numbers far more seriously than I ever did Jerome Baker's. Shout out to Jordan Brooks. You need to extend Brooks, extend Achane, extend Brewer, and bring Dulcich back. Holla at your boy. Now, Mike McDaniel. There was a few times today, a few drives where I thought we were a little too pass heavy when we could have put an offense in a better position to run the ball. But beside that, another good game called by Mike McDaniel. He's starting to string them together. You know what I thought about while I was watching us? And we were actually only up 24-10, so it was well before the final. I was watching and I was saying, look at this. He's vastly out coaching a rookie head coach, which is what he should be doing. Since you've been the head coach since 2022. Your fourth year, you should be vastly out coaching Aaron Glenn, and he did. He outcoached Sean McDermott. I thought he was out coaching the Dan Quinn and et cetera, the last couple of weeks, but I thought Tua's execution, I said last week, Tua's execution held the offense back. Mike McDaniel called a really good game last week, but Tua's lack of execution left the Achane angle route on the board when he was wide open for a walk-in touchdown. Left points on the board with the Waddle touchdown, right? Left points on the board potentially by not extending that drive by missing Julian Hill on third down. What it looks like, knock on wood, but is our head coach starting to put it together too? The offensive line, Strange is getting better. Jonas Savaianaya is getting much, much better. Jonas Savaianaya has been really good for like the last 3 weeks. I mean, go look at him open the hole on that first Achane run for a touchdown today. I mean, phenomenal stuff. Jackson's back, and you're seeing it, man. You're seeing the improvement. I love it. Man, you know what? I wish all of you watching and all of you have watched me, I wish we could have shared in this kind of football from the beginning of the season to where we are right now. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we would be looking at a 9 or a 10 win team right now. So, man, I will apologize to all of you for the fact that we didn't get to share in this great football we've seen 5 of the last 6 weeks for the whole season. I wish we would have been able to share in that together, because we would have seen this team. Let me tell you something right now. If this team wins out and sneaks into the playoffs, and the run game and the defense keep playing at the level that they are, and Tua tightens his game up, this team could be very, very dangerous. Look at how tight Tua's game was in the first quarter, and look at how efficient that offense was between running and passing. Then, he had 2 or 3 passes from then on, starting in the second quarter that were shaky. But if Tua and his game were to tighten up like what we saw in that first quarter, and he can maintain that for 4 quarters, and this defense and run game and this offensive line can continue building off what they've done the last 5 of the 6 weeks, look out. This team would be scary. No one would want us to make the playoffs. I'm telling you, if this team is 9-7 and they keep getting better and better over the next 3 weeks, everyone's going to be hoping the Patriots don't bench their starters because ain't no one wanting to see us in the playoffs. If Tua tightens his game up and this defense, offensive line, and run game keeps building off the greatness they've been the last 5 of 6 weeks, this could be a scary season, I'm telling you. Shout out to TC on Sticks. He says, so I think what will eventually happen now is Tua will be gone by next year. McDaniel's proven a few times now that he doesn't need Tua to produce big numbers for the team to score 30-plus points. Hey, go look at my video from Friday. I said there is definitely a path to Brandon Shore moving the Miami Dolphins off of Tua Tyreek. And it clears a ton of money. And you make a great point. McDaniel's turning a corner as a coach, and he's proving he can win without Tua having to be the most efficient quarterback in the NFL. Love it. Guys, smash the like button. Subscribe if you are new. Over 300 of you in the chat. I will see you on the next one. Fins up. Dolphins win. Let's go, baby. See you on the next one.